right, good morning. I'm Dave Thomas with Law Tigers, and we are here on the podcast, The Moment of Truth. I have a special guest today, Montana Thompson. Montana Thompson, well, he's a personal injury attorney that handles trucking, motorcycle cases, car, bus, pedestrian, slip and falls. I mean, he's kind of like the jack of all trades. He's fluent Spanish speaker, which I didn't know that about you. Active in serving in the Hispanic community, which is totally awesome. And notable results, north of 710K hotel shower injury case, and also 650K rollover crash. So, man, you're out there kicking butt and taking names, and I probably should announce your law firm. It's called Phillips Law Group out of Arizona. I know them very well. Very reputable firm. Well, what I wanted to do is just kind of dive right in. First I wanted to mention Supio's just released in 2026, the State of AI Plaintiff Law Report, a survey over 207 plaintiff attorneys and firm leaders. And after that survey, they were able to capture this data, and it was just enormous for Supio at large. What would you like to kind of start out with saying just a little bit of background about you before I kind of really jump into some of the questions? What should our audience know about you?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Dave.
Yeah.
I've been with Phillips Law Group for 13 years, and a couple of those cases that you just mentioned have just been recent cases that we've settled in our law firm. We consider ourselves a litigation firm. We don't back down from trying our own cases, and we kind of take pride in that.
Yeah.
And we've grown extensively over the last couple of years, and we credit a lot of that to our use of AI. So kind of very prevalent and important topic for us. So happy to talk to you about it today.
I love that, man. I love that. So take us back to the first time AI generally saved you real time on a case. What was that task, and what did it free you up to do instead?
Wow, the first time, that's going back a while. I don't know if I can remember the very first time. I know at the very beginning we were using it for simple tasks like summarizing medical records.
Sure.
And creating demands. And that in itself was helpful. But I can give you maybe a better example with the new agentic AI system that we've been using for the last several months. I recently asked my agent, Supio agent, to look at a case and tell me what motions I should file.
Okay.
And it gave me 3 Daubert motions and asked me if I wanted it to draft it for me. And it also told me how strong those motions might be.
Yeah.
And because of that, it helped me draft a Daubert motion, which I think has a really, really high likelihood of a judge actually, reviewing and actually, ordering that the defense expert be dismissed from the case. So we're excited about that.
Well, that's excellent, man. I hear a lot of those success stories around the country. Supio just obviously, released that survey I talked about, 207 plaintiff attorneys and firm leaders. Nearly 8 out of 10 firms have tried AI, which is that's a pretty high number, which is great. But only about 3 out of the 10 use it regularly as part of how they operate and how they work. Which camp were you in a year ago? I know the answer to that, but what would you say to those that fell below the curve, that was maybe that 3 out of the 10 group? What are they missing out on?
Yeah, I can understand the hesitancy of that group of really jumping in and using it. Yeah. Maybe it's a trust issue, maybe it's a cost issue with AI. But what we've seen, and I think what general AI experts will tell you, is that AI has taken leaps and bounds in its accuracy.
Yes.
And its ability to do things for you. So what you heard a year ago about AI's ability is outdated. The things that AI can do now is incredible. And while you still have to check it. I would say the accuracy is just off the charts. And so I would say keep trying, keep thinking outside the box, and experiment with it, and you'll learn that its accuracy and the cost effectiveness of it is worth it.
Yeah, with Law Tigers, we're in 32 states, 47 markets, so we have attorneys across the country. And some of my attorneys, they even admit to being that they're a little overwhelmed. You're overwhelmed by, how many companies are offering this, and they don't really quite understand how to leverage it and what to do with it. Mm-hmm. Explain to me how Supio has, intersected with your firm and added tremendous value and gave you that comfortability to go out there and be successful utilizing AI core functions.
Yeah, obviously you can't jump in and have AI take over your practice on day one.
Yeah.
It's a step-by-step process, and you've got to become familiar with it. Your staff has to adopt it. And so if you think it's going to change your practice in one day, you're trying to take too big of a bite. You've got to take it slow. And so, we started with simple things, having it summarize, having it prepare just a demand, for example, and then slowly integrating it to where now we have Supio working in our case management system, pulling all the information from case management software, and being able to review an entire case for us. And so, I had a new attorney come on board with me a couple months ago, and she would simply log into Supio and say, "Hey, I'm new on this case. Tell me what I need to know."
Wow.
And Supio would give her a summary of the whole entire case, everything that's going on, and give her suggestions about what could be done next on the case.
Great. I'm going to ask a question, maybe make you a little bit uncomfortable. So we have Even Up out there. I think there's some other platforms. Why did you choose Supio?
Yeah, so part of that decision was probably above my pay grade.
Okay.
But Supio is one of the early adopters of what we saw in both our case management software and the ability to easily upload our case. We just love the way that Supio is so easy to use for our staff.
I love that you said that, because I did hear last night, I was actually hanging out with some of the C-suite from Supio, a great team, and attorney was basically saying, "Hey man, I think you guys have the best platform, and I mean the product is just great. However, there has been some communication saying that it's not as user-friendly as some of the other platforms. You're saying it is. Continue."
Yeah, no, we appreciate how easy it is to use, both in the beginning stages where it was separate from our case management software, but now in the agentic era that we're in, and how it can just easily read our case management software. I don't know how much easier they can make it, to be honest.
Yeah, let's dive into that a little bit. So what tasks you never expected AI to handle well that it's now capable of doing, and what's something you still won't hand over? So so what's working through AI, but what is something that you're kind of still harboring, saying, you know what, I'm old school, I'm going to stick to my guns on that?
Yeah, first, something that, being able to ask the agent to review the case and tell you, for example, in litigation, what motions you should file or where the weaknesses are in your case, what additional discovery you should look into getting. Like that's basically having a whole nother attorney on your case for you.
Wow.
And to dig into the details, which takes a lot of time. Before I would have to read all of the medical records. I'd have to read all of the discovery in detail. And now I can ask AI to do that for me. And then, and maybe this goes to the second part of your question, I still go back and look at the document. I still ask AI to show me your evidence for these claims, for example. And I'll go in and I'll look at the ER record. I'll look at the important documents that I think are necessary. But
sure.
And so that's maybe something I haven't entirely turned over to AI. Another thing I haven't entirely turned over to AI is even though Supio does have a connection with Westlaw, which we have and we use Supio's connection with Westlaw, we are still heavily checking the legal citations
Sure.
and making sure that that's right. And even just in the last 2 months, that has improved dramatically.
That's outstanding. It's when you look at insurance carriers, they've actually been leveraging and utilizing AI for years to reach injured people before they can ever even call an attorney. So what does that mean for the race to sign up a client? We know how important intake is.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I see what happens in intake when I get the new cases and I see what they're doing. I'm not in that department. I do know that we have AI systems that that are recording the conversations with these people that are calling in. And if there is a call that is going off the rails for some reason, or it doesn't look like it's going to, the intake specialist is going to be able to close the case.
Yes.
AI flags that call and sends it to the attorney handling, usually the managing attorney, so that he can jump on the call before that person has a chance to hang up and help close the case.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I have one last question for you in our time. What does the Winning Planet firm look like 3 years from now? Quarterly using AI.
Yeah.
What does that look like?
The winning firm?
Yeah, what does the winning firm look like? So what I'm asking is, for those early adopters, they're gonna, kind of bridge the gap, or not bridge the gap, they're gonna, leave some people behind.
Yeah.
So what is that gonna look like in your opinion?
Well, like you said, the insurance companies have already been using AI for years. Defense attorneys are an old dinosaur, and so they haven't been adopting it as quickly.
Yeah.
But in 3 years, they will have it.
Yeah.
And so if the plaintiff's attorneys don't adopt it and don't use it, they are going to be dramatically behind the defense attorneys who are fighting their cases once they get into litigation, especially. And so the winning plaintiffs firm, in my mind, is going to be ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
They're going to be anticipating those things. They're going to be able to see when the other side is using AI and be able to leverage that and be prepared for it. I think that's the biggest thing. I think the people who can, think outside the box and using AI
Yes.
are going to be ahead of the game.
I totally agree. I also think that it's important to be a change agent in place. As far as, there's never a one size fit all.
Yeah.
But you have to assess, measure, and everything is around really executing. So, I definitely appreciate our time here. You've answered some really great questions. Hope our audience was able to take some value, some nuggets that they can take back to their firms and help leverage and help grow in a meaningful way. I want to say thank you to Supio. Obviously, Law Tigers, we're American motorcycle lawyers, and if you're ever interested in learning a little bit more about how to diversify your firm with high-value motorcycle cases, you can reach me at dave@lawtigers.com or jump on our website at lawtigersmarketing.com. And if you're ever in the Valley of Phoenix and you may need the co-counsel with an excellent attorney, let the audience know how to reach you.
Yeah, Montana.Thompson at phillipslaw.com. Feel free to reach out with any questions.
Awesome. Thanks so much for your time.
Thanks, Dave.
Until next time, be well and live inspired.